Hey, this is Troy Erickson from copywriting.org, and today I'm back with another really cool interview about a topic that a lot of people sometimes shy away from, and that's adversity. And I have one of my students on today named Cole Buckwalter, who's going to talk a little bit about his journey over the past 10 years and how he kind of fell into copywriting and email list management and some of the pivots that he's been able to make. So this is somewhat of a workshop and somewhat of something that's just going to inspire a lot of people and help you realize that if you're going through adversity, you're not alone. And that's something we all go through. And it's certainly something that makes you a better person when you come out on the other end of it. So, Cole, thanks for being here and for being willing to share your story.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Let's dig into it. It was tough. About 10 years ago, I had, if you want to talk about climbing mountains, I had a sudden onset of symptoms when I was 20 years old. Just came on one night, and I did not know what was happening to me. And if you're young, I didn't bother seeing a doctor because I thought, it'll just pass, it'll be fine. And come to find out that I have a very rare neurological condition called visual snow. It basically creates visual static, like these webcams here. If you've ever been on a Zoom call with someone with a lower quality webcam, it's kind of like having all those floating dots and stuff in your vision, but 24/7. Some people it's not 24/7, but for me it is all the time. I can't see in the dark very well. It affects my daily life. It affects my ability to concentrate. I have Tourette's on top of it, so if I blink a lot, don't worry about it. I'm fine. I just have Tourette's. With multiple neurological conditions, it's hard to concentrate sometimes. But over these years, I've really learned to not just deal with it, but work with it as well. And so that has been that was a challenge that I really had to overcome. I had worked many jobs, driving jobs. I was a massage therapist at one time. I owned my own business. I enjoyed all of it, but I wasn't really finding what that thing that really hits for me. That job that I really want. I wasn't sure what I want to do. I wasn't sure what I could do. Let's see, that was 2020, I guess. Yeah, I think it was February 2020. A good friend of mine named Andrew approached me and said, "Hey, I know you're looking for something. Have you ever thought about copywriting?" I said, "What's copywriting?" And he shared that with me, and I was like, you know what? I haven't tried this before. I'll give it a shot. I used to be kind of decent at writing when I was younger, so might as well give it a try. And found that I really loved getting helpful products and services in people's view, services and products that they don't even know exist, that in some cases, and could really benefit them. So I feel like I'm helping people all around, and that's really what I always wanted to do, is just help people. So
Yeah, thanks for sharing that too. And one thing that Cole and I and a lot of people in my email list management program talk about is like relatability, right? So just as you were saying all those things, now obviously I don't have these things to the same extent you do, but when I was playing baseball, one thing that would happen to me a lot after I would like work out and like not eat right, not sleep well, is I get ocular migraines, which is like this giant like flashy thing. If the listeners here have never seen it, look it up on YouTube. It's this weird flashy thing. And the first time I saw it, I was so scared. I thought I was like going blind or something. But to this day, I still have little floaters in my eye that annoy me. So it's like I can relate to what you're talking about, and I have so much more respect for you after hearing that. And I'm kind of curious too. So obviously, with a couple of different conditions, obviously makes it a little bit more difficult to work like a regular job. Is that also like a big reason why you're shifting online?
Yeah, that's correct. I found one of the issues with visual snow is that, and it's very new. They don't understand much about it yet. There are no treatments, there are no medications, no surgeries, but it does. Some of the research suggests problems elsewhere. It can create a cascade of problems. So yeah, I've had chronic pain. That's something that I deal with, chronic, just, randomly getting tired for no reason. That happens to me as well. Thankfully, a lot less so than it did in years past. Working physical jobs, trying to lift things all the time. That was troublesome. Even sometimes, even just looking, if I was stocking a shelf, just looking down the shelves, I'd get disoriented, almost like I spun around in a chair, but without the without the spinning room, so it's that same disorientation. So yeah, I realized I had to move to something digital. I just didn't know what until my friend introduced me to it. So
Yeah, and it's cool to hear that Andrew did that too. And like for example, Andrew is really passionate about survival, but in a lot of cases with adversity, you become really good at, especially when it comes to copywriting, you become really good at writing in the niche or in the industry that you've had experience in. So, I mean, have you considered, or, you're newer to list management, but are you writing at all like in the health and wellness space, or maybe like, are you striving to get a doctor client, or like, for example, I myself, I've used a guy named Dr. D who like gives crazy insights into the human body with like some tests that you can do like in the mail and sending it back. And I'm like, gosh, after I did that, I feel like it'd be amazing to write for somebody like that. So have you considered that before?
Yeah, I have. I would definitely love to work with those kind of clients at some point in time. It hasn't crossed my path. I've had other clients, just how it went. But yeah, I mean, I've done things with physical therapy, a survival prepper niche. I've written for the pet niche. I particularly like the pet niche too. I care very much about animals, so it's I find that a very enjoyable place to write as well. So, but yeah, I would love to work with those kind of clients.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because it's like what I've noticed is when I can relate to a client, they just the likelihood that they enjoy working with you and they want you writing for them just goes up so much. So for anybody listening that that is like, gosh, I sell something that helps people in situations similar to Cole, then maybe Cole's a good fit. But anyway, Cole, you mentioned that you had a recent consulting client really helped them out with deliverability. You want to talk a little bit about a couple of things that you helped them with?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. It was tough finding the problem at first. That was it was a difficult case. But which that sometimes happens. It's not always easy. But ultimately, just landed on low domain reputation, and it wasn't even his fault necessarily. It's that kind of stuff can just be whatever email service provider you're using. That can happen. But really dialed into what was it now? It was segmenting. That was one. Sending to a smaller segment of people first. Figure out who the most active people are and sending to them. It's a great booster of the reputation because they're a positive They usually get positive reactions. And so you can really boost your domain reputation there. So that's one of the biggest takeaways for him.
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that a lot of business owners don't realize right away, because I think that sending to more people is always better, when in turn it's like sending to the most engaged people, sending to the people that care the most, that just want to hear from you. So on that note, what exactly are you doing for clients? Is it just deliverability consulting? Is it just writing copy? Is it full email list management? Tell me a little bit more.
I mean, full list management, if those are the services that they want. I mean, I love helping people. And I love taking that burden off of business owners. Like it's so hard running a business as it is. Like I've done it with multiple businesses, and it's hard. So to think on top of writing emails and getting them sent out the right time and managing automations and segmentation and making sure you're not in spam, like it's a lot. So yeah, like I would love to, I love taking that burden off of people. So yeah, I mean, full list management, I'll do copywriting services as well, if that's what they want as well. But I think the full benefit of email list management could benefit most business owners.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's just crazy how you can transform a business when they were just like occasionally sending emails. Somebody put them in a Google Doc and then they try to paste them into an ESP and it goes to spam and they don't understand the automations. And just having that taken off your shoulders and off your plate as a business owner is just like, it's like a whole new world that opens up for you. And same thing goes for me in different areas. Like I launched a couple of websites recently. I don't know anything about that. People took it off my shoulders. Feels amazing. But on that note too, I've had a lot of people in my email list management certification program. Cole, how long have you been in there?
That has been since, I believe that was the beginning of October.
Okay. So yeah, it's literally been like 2 to 3 months by the time this episode comes out. and like you've worked your butt off really far. And that's something that I find that people have faced a lot of adversity, myself included. I've told my story a million different times, basically being like cut from college baseball team as a senior, super embarrassing, but I also felt like I had my identity cut out from under me. And these are just things where it's like, you have the opportunity to either quit or to pivot and make something work. And like, I see that in you as well. So I guess my last question for you specifically, what do you think is like the biggest thing that you've learned through the adversity that you've faced so far?
That's a great question. Sorry, I'm a thoughtful person. I have to think about that. I think one of the biggest things is and maybe it sounds cliche at this point, but like, keep throwing yourself at the wall, but make sure you're throwing yourself at the right wall. You got to keep doing it. You have to keep going. I really loved your story, Troy. I remember reading actually a while back, even before I joined your course, reading about how you got, it had a specific name, where your muscles weren't functioning, and it's partially influenced by anxiety. Was that
the yips?
The yips, that's what it was. Yes, that was so fascinating to me. And but you like you said, like, it kind of tore you down a bit, but you pivoted, and then you found something that worked, and you just kept at it. So I feel like just keep going, but then also again, making sure you're throwing yourself at the right wall. Surround yourself with people that can help you. I feel like that would be the biggest thing, because they will help you find the right wall to throw yourself at. Because you could spend so much, you can spend 3, 4, 5 years trying to do something and realize, like, I've been making this harder on myself than I had to. So surrounding yourself with people, I think, is the biggest thing, which that's what I've enjoyed most about your course, is really the community. The information, of course, is phenomenal, but the community of students and experts alike that are backing you, helping you succeed, like, that's powerful. That's really powerful. So yeah. I think I'll revise and just say, surround yourself with people to help you, mentor you, give you feedback. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I wouldn't say your advice was cliche, but throwing yourself at the right wall is just like a really good new hook that a lot of people don't think about, right? Because the cliche advice is like, don't give up, bro, keep going. But
keep doing it.
If you're going after the wrong things, like if you keep going at the things that aren't getting you anywhere, like that's not doing anybody any good. But just making sure that you have the right people around you, so you're throwing yourself at the right wall in the right way, right? Because it's like, ultimately, if you hit a wall in the right spot, you can knock it down pretty easily. And depending what tools you use, depending on what kind of people you have around you. So
exactly.
Love it. Now, once again, like I said, I'll attest to Cole's work ethic. So hopefully, if you're listening to this, you've been inspired in some way, shape, or form. Or if you're a business owner who is like, gosh, you know what, Cole kind of sounds like my target audience, would love to have him write for me. Where should they contact you, Cole?
So you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn. Just look up Cole Buckwalter. You should be able to find me. My big goofy face is in my profile. And you can also find me at colebuckwalter.com.
Sounds good. Well, once again, thank you very much for sharing. And obviously, a message for everybody out there: share your story. It's scary at first. I had to convince Cole to come on and like share the specifics of his story, but there's going to be so many people that relate to this and feel inspired. And I want that for everybody here. So go out there, share your story. It's scary at first, but I promise it's worth it. So thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you in the next interview.